Hey everybody, it's me, DeogenZ, here with another edition of Pokemon of the Week. This week, we're going to look into a very popular poke. So popular, it's even sustained another place in the next Smash game. That's right, we're talking Lucario. Lucario is an awesome physical sweeper. With its justified ability, it makes the perfect swap switch-in for a bait and trick of a dark type on your foe's side. So, ideally you would have a psychic type that was doing some special sweeping before. And then, if you can predict very well when a dark crunch or, well, if a pursuit's coming, there's no outrunning that unfortunately, but something not of that nature, maybe a dark pulse, send Lucario out, and it will get attack boosts. On the topic of boosting, let me just go briefly over the items. Metal Coat is for a little bit of extra defense. Life Orb gives you extra physical attack, but at the cost of health, of course. And Wide Lens is only recommended if you're going to include High Jump Kick, because what I didn't realize about that move, just because I rarely use it, is that it has 130 base attack power. That's pretty powerful. But I think it has something like a 70, maybe it's even better than that, maybe it's 80, 90, somewhere in that range sort of accuracy. And if you miss, you end up injuring your own poke. So it's another one of those risk-reward type moves. However, if you want something more sustainable, then Brick Break is definitely the way to go. And if you want more sustainable boosts, of course getting that free switch-in and getting the attack boost from the dark type is awesome. But then you can retaliate with your own Swords Dance and further increase your attack. Blaze Kick is a great option for ice and grass, bug types if you come across them. Brick Break of course needs to be included because of its stab, and unfortunately its secondary stab, at least in the physical range, doesn't have a good steel type move. It can learn Metal Claw, however its power is 50, so even with the same type attack bonus, it's not going to be that significant. Extreme Speed, in case you come across a very fast opponent, something that's trying to submit your Lucario down for the graveyard. If anything's going to sweep it, it's going to be probably something special and super speedy, so you want to have a backup for that. And Extreme Speed is exactly that. Some other options you have are very ranged, and I would recommend even checking out Cerebi for further options that don't even fit on this slide, because it can learn Earthquake, Stone Edge, High Jump Kick, Ice Punch. It can learn Poison Jab. It's all about what you're lacking in super effective ability on your team, so I can't really tell you, based on not knowing what your team is, what moves to place on your Lucario. However, I can recommend the Swords Dance for sure, and of course the same type attack bonus with Brick Break. Could also do something like a Close Combat, but then you're going to risk your stats, and if you do that, then perhaps just retract Lucario back. Get the one boost from the Justified, get the big one attack from Close Combat, and maybe save Swords Dance for later gameplay when it needs to be pulled out onto the field again to finish the job. Now, although it's much more preferred in metagame, at least from the matches I've seen, to be having a physical set, it works well as a special sweeper as well. I mean, take a look at that stat. It is slightly higher by 5 with its base at 115. So with this, you would just max out its special attack EVs instead of its physical attack EVs. Keep maxing out that speed, because ideally you want to be the fastest thing on the field. And with this special set, you lose Extreme Speed. So perhaps that's the reason that it comes in to the clutch, is that it has the ability to Close Combat and then finish the job if Close Combat doesn't do it, which, I mean, come on, with maxing out its EVs and its stats, what we're looking at here is essentially a wall breaker if it's a super effective hit, and you include the same type attack bonus, which you would for a Close Combat move. However, I like the special move pool far more, just because it has the addition of Dragon Pulse and gives you the ability to possess Psychic and Shadow Ball. Also Flash Cannon, which is going to come into play even more in the next set when we talk about its Mega Evolution. But as far as special attack goes, this thing is very suitable, and it's really just up to your playstyle. Do you prefer to go with the nice thing about it is also, before I even say, are you special or physical, it's all up to you. But the nice thing is, what usually determines that on other pokes is what's the stat boosting move. Is there one for both, or is it either or? In this case, it's both. You have Calm Mind, Sword Stance, and even Nasty Plot. However, I like Calm Mind better because you get special attack boost and special defense. So you make this thing bulkier, which is great because mainly special attacks are what you need to be worrying about. Another way to wipe those worries out would be to include Lucario Knight as the item instead of Life Orb or Metal Coat or even the Wide Lens if you went with the physical including the high jump kick move. Now Lucario Knight does some awesome things. It doesn't change its type, it remains a fighting steel, which is great. No need for extra weaknesses, although usually when there is a type change it will mix it up so other types aren't affecting it, so it's balanced. But the ability does change, and this is awesome because adaptability changes the same type attack bonus from 1.5 to 2. That's right, doubly effectiveness. It's almost like every time you hit with just the same type attack move, like, oh, I don't know, Brick Break, or in the case of a special set, which again, you know, it's up to your playstyle, special or physical, it works both ways, including the Lucario Knight, because although in this case the physical attack gets a little bit higher, I do want to bring up the fact that Metal Claw is the only secondary stab, and with a set that boosts your stab, you really kind of want the Flash Cannon, which is only available to the special set. I mean, yeah, of course it's available to all Lucario sets, but it wouldn't make sense on a physical set. So it's something to think about, but adaptability is awesome, and the boost to its speed, special attack, and physical attack are great as well. Looking at this, I can't find out any weak points in it, really, anything that it detracts from. And that's why I just had to bring Lucario up as one of the most awesome sweepers in metagame before this series closed out. So, if you don't know, Pokemon of the Week, at least my end of it, is going to stop. So, if you want to still learn new metagame sets, tune into my channel, youtube.com/DeogenZ, and eventually, no time set yet when that'll happen, Pokemon Potential will show up. Right now, Nihongo o benkyou shimasu, mainichi. Yeah, not proper grammar, but I'm studying Japanese every day, and it's a lot of work. So, don't have as much time to work with Pokemon, but I would love to hear what your thoughts of Lucario were below. I'm pumped to play with him in the next Smash, but I totally want to try out the new Mega Lucario form. That's what I've been doing in my Y version, is basically getting all the Mega Evolutions and EV training them so I can see how they function, because they're new, they're awesome, and maybe there will be another Mega Evolution, because since it is the ending set until 100 of Pokemon of the Week, I'm taking viewer requests. Now this next week's poke, I've gotten so many requests for it before, and I thought it might be impossible to raise, but I'm going to take a crack at it, so I will see you next week. Welcome back to Effort Value Expertise, the Heart Gold, Soul Silver Effort Value Training Series put on by me, DeogenZ. And today, what we are focusing on is physical attack. So, you want yourself an offensive sweeper, you say. Well, make sure that you have Pokerus and